been a week. Let's look through the chat and see who's here.
Yeah.
Bill Safarski, Lake Ontario Firewood, Josh Leach, Living the Dream, Logger Jason, Wise Choice Firewood. Good evening, everybody. It's been busy. Jeff Morgan, good evening to you, my friend. Basso Family Firewood. Chuck and Zach, how we doing, guys? Rob from outside in a 515. Good evening, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. So, we've got Yadkin Valley Outdoors, PA Trapper. We got our Gramp Sticks in. I released the video today, and my email has been absolutely flooded. I mean flooded. Time in the Buckeye, good evening. So that's a good thing. Dave Edwards, Brandon Fisher, Billy D, Robert Daigle. We've got all kinds, and I mean all kinds of interest in these Gramp Sticks. I've had people that have ordered them. I have people that have paid for them. The first batch of Gramp Sticks is sold out right now. But don't worry, Derek from Derek's Stuff is making another batch as we speak. He's already working on them. He's got some new stuff in the works as well. The Gramp Sticks took off. I was floored with the response that we got for them. And the best part about the Gramp Sticks is that all of this money is going to charity to start Gramp's Wood Bank. And that is something that even when Gramp is gone and no longer doing firewood, we will always have Gramp's Wood Bank. And I think that this is something that will turn into the main version of Hope or Who's Your Firewood Hysteria, I'm hoping. I already contacted the Maine Veterans Project, and they are going to be one of our larger supporters and outlets for the donated wood that's going to come from the wood bank. They do a lot for our disabled and elderly veterans in the area, or veterans that are struggling and need a hand. I reached out to them today, said, would you have a use for firewood? And they said, well, we're kind of through heating season now. I said, I'm talking next year, would you have a use? And he said, yeah, sure, what do you think? And I said, I'm thinking I'd like to have 30 to 50 cords of firewood ready for next year's heating season, if you can use it. And he said, absolutely. He goes, well, we'll do that. So we're going to end up going down and doing a video with Doc Goodwin and his partner that run the Maine Veterans Project. And we'll introduce you to the guys. We'll let you know what the plan is. And as we get ready and as we get time for the cutting and splitting events and days in the yard, we will post that, and anybody that wants to come is more than welcome. Come one, come all. Bring something, bring nothing other than your hands, doesn't matter. We're going to have a good time with it, so be a good time. So if you guys have already sent me an email before this live stream started, we will have all of the orders. I'll be going through emails tomorrow morning, touching base with everybody, letting you know what we have for colors, seeing if you want a custom color, and responding to everybody. So if I haven't responded to you for your Gramp Stick yet, don't worry, have no fear, we'll take care of it. But they flew, and I mean flew. And Gramp really surprised me. He picked up a pink one. I spread all of them out, and Gramp grabbed a pink one. I said, why pink? He said, can see it better. Went right back to work. That was it. Conversation over. So I thought that was kind of funny. My favorite is the red, white, and blue. And that is the most popular asked for color so far, is the red, white, and blue scheme. So I know Derek is making a bunch of those. We've got all kinds of stuff. Yep, pink is good. Absolutely is. The pink, I didn't know if they would go, and that was the first thing Gramp grabbed, so I was just kind of made me laugh. I liked it. But yeah, we've had a busy week firewood orders are ramping up big time. We've got 14 full cord left to leave the yard by the end of the day Saturday. So we've got a busy remainder of the week for sure. We'll bring you guys along for a portion of that as we go. Tomorrow it looks like we've got 5 cord heading out again, and we'll go from there. There's Derek's stuff right there. There's the man that's making the sticks. Treetop firewood. Yes, you can get a pink all-wood splitter if you want to pay the extra for the powder coat. Bobby will build you whatever you want. So if pink is your color, he's the man to do it for you. No problem at all. So again, if you guys are just coming on, if you want a Gramp Stick, don't worry. Derek is making another batch. The first batch is pretty well gone. There may be some colors and things that are left available, and we'll sort through that as we go. If I haven't answered your email yet, don't fret, don't worry. We'll get to you. I promise we'll get to you. We'll make sure everybody gets one. This is for a great cause. This is going to start something that hopefully for years to come will be something that we will have to do going forward. And it'll help the veterans in the area and the Maine Veterans Project. So that's a really cool thing. And we will get Kevin on here live. Try to think. We could probably get him on here live just about any night now because he switched his schedule for at least an hour. So we'll plan on that. We'll try to get him on here Sunday night. And don't expect a lot of talking. But we'll get him on here and we'll bring K-Train on the Sunday Night Live. We'll see if he's willing to do that, and I'm sure he will be. Kevin's a good sport. Let's see here. I don't think I missed any questions, but I think I missed a bunch of people. So I saw Tom from Tom's Firewood. How you doing, buddy? He popped in. Ted and Sherry Miller, they're here. Brandon Hode. Bud Cantor. Yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. Ben's Firewood, exactly. That's right, exactly. Kevin is a cool cat for sure. I don't mic Kevin up a lot. We don't wear mics because Kevin, sometimes his language would be less than family appropriate and I'd have to put a lot of music in the videos. But he's a really good sport. So that works out pretty good. Dan's House of Smoking Outdoors. Good evening to you, my friend. So who's liking the longer daytime hours as far as being light outside? I know I am. It doesn't get dark here until almost 7:15 or so now. So it's pretty good. Brandon Hode, most people don't mind, but it is what it is. So the lengths of the sticks are 16-inch, but if you want a custom length, send me an email and let me know, and we will we'll get them taken care of. We can custom make whatever you want, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, the time change is really cool. Means that we've got more time in the afternoon, and that's when I made several today. Great colors. What's the most popular? So far, the most popular color has been the red, white, and blue. But I got a lot of people asking about pink now. So it's, I think now that Gramp picked the pink one, I think there may be a round of pink that comes through. Seems to be quite a few people that are rooting Gramp on for picking that pink Gramp Stick. I know I'm going to save a couple and hang them in the new office. Hopefully Sunday when we do our live stream, we'll be in the new office. I don't know if all the interior decorating will be done yet, but we will see what we get. Oh, they're liking the black and green too, Derek. They like all the colors. Yep, any length you want, and pink is so cool, says Derek. So, yeah, the Gramp Sticks, again, every bit of this is going to charity, and I've got something special planned for the guy that's making them for us. he doesn't want any money, but that doesn't mean that I can't send him some stuff. So we're gonna take care of Derek on our end too. If he won't tell us what he wants for him, I'll just keep sending stuff. So that's all right. We appreciate Derek's help big time. It's gonna be really cool. Miller Stump Some Firewood says when he gets one, it's going in the saw shack. That's awesome. I've got a lot of people that have asked for two. They want one to use and one to hang up and put on display. So we can certainly send more than one if that's what you want to do. But very cool. Yep, wise choice firewood. Red, white, and blue all the way. Ben's firewood. We ought to do that, Derek. We ought to make a little 5.5-inch long stick and somehow send it to Dan and have Gramp Stick on it and send that. We'll have him open it. Tell him wait to open it on the Friday Night Live. Ron Brooks is recovering from open heart surgery, being moved tomorrow to a different room. I hope the different room is a good thing, and we'll definitely keep you in our thoughts for sure. So get better, Ron. Can't wait to get you back home where you belong. Just take it easy and listen to the doctors. Yes, we will have an olive green color, kind of like the Wolfridge splitter. So there's going to be some of those, and we'll have that stuff too. Yeah, let's get a 5-inch one, Derek, and I'll send it to Dan. I've got his address. I'll send it out, and I'll tell him not to open it until Friday Night Live. We'll send him a regular one, and we'll send him the short one too. It'll be some good advertisement. I'll throw a letter in and explain to everybody what we're doing, and they can order if they want. Or when we go to the International Firewood Expo in May, we'll get going on the live down there with him, and maybe I can hand it to him and give him a present in person. So the sticks are $20 a piece plus shipping. We do have orange and white, Rob. So orange and white, we had one in the last batch. If there's custom colors that you guys want, please send me an email and I will send it to Derek. We're going to try to coordinate this as best as possible, but these things, like I said, way more enthusiasm about them than I had ever planned, and I think Gramp's getting a pretty good kick out of it too, because he doesn't realize how much this stuff can move with the power of the internet and YouTube and things like that, but he's seeing it now, and he thought it was pretty neat. He thought it was pretty cool that everybody wanted a Gramp Stick, and I think he was a little proud, so, and he should be. He works his ass off. So yeah, the sticks are $20 plus shipping. I haven't been to the post office yet to see what it's going to cost to ship one out. I'll have that tomorrow probably. And once I get that, I'll put a post and go from there. Yes, Wise Choice Firewood. I was able to get a room for the show. It's all booked, and we should be good to go. So I will be staying in the same hotel as Dan and whoever else is going to be down to the International Firewood Expo. So I'll see a bunch of you guys down there. I plan on bringing a bunch of fire starters, a bunch of Gramp Sticks. If you guys are in the market and you want the master cases of fire starters for your firewood business, and you're going to be either at the Hoosier Firewood Hysteria or the International Firewood Expo in May, shoot me an email. Let me know how many cases, how many Gramp Sticks, what color. Yep, Yadkin Valley multiples would be one price to ship. So whatever the price is to ship them, we can send as many or as few. I'm probably going to try to look for a flat rate envelope that they'll fit in or something along that lines. And once I figure that out, I will let everybody know what the shipping is. All right, sounds good, Ted. I'll look for that. So Wise Choice Firewood. Somebody wanted to know where everybody was staying. The Residence Inn at the Eastwood Mall is where everybody is planning on staying right now, I guess. At least that's where I'm staying. That's where I booked my room, so I'm hoping that's where they go. And we'll go from there. Now, I was cutting with Gramp this morning, and he picked up a saw, and it was an Echo. And I noticed he had his Huskies with him, but he didn't pick a Husky up until the end of the day when he pinched an Echo in the log. I didn't get it on video. I wished I had. He doesn't get a saw stuck very often, but he got one stuck today, and he used his Husky to cut it out. Once he got it cut out, he used the Husky for the rest of the time that he was cutting. But he uses the Echoes much, much more than the Huskies now. He's really gotten used to the Echoes. He's liking them. They're very fuel efficient. They do a good job. So Echo saws are definitely getting Gramp's stamp of approval now that he's got some time in on them. Somebody asked how long this wood is behind me. That is all 8-inch long, 2.5-inch split or smaller red oak for a barbecue restaurant. Ted, my email is woodguywillie, WILLEY @gmail.com. Yeah, the 620, I think after running the 7310 and the 620 both, I would buy a 620 hands down before I bought a 7310. For what we do, we don't do a ton of great big wood, so it's not a big deal. It works out pretty good. The 620 turns up really nice. It's really fuel efficient. It's really, really good on fuel, and it's just a really, really nice saw. Gramp ran Husqvarna up until we got the Echoes, and before that it was John Sered. He ran John Sered for years, and before that it was Partner. He started with a Partner saw, and then he had Dolmar and John Sered for a few years, and after John Sered quit making saws, he switched to Husky, and that's what he ran up until we got the Echoes in September. And he hadn't been running them for a while, and now he seems to run those just about every day when he's over. And he consistently says that he likes the 620 better than the 7310. So he runs the 7310 on the bigger stuff, but the 620 is his saw of choice for sure. And I think some of that has to do with the fact that it starts a little easier and it's a little bit lighter too. Because Gramp is not young. He's 78 years old. He'll be 79 in September. So he's definitely swinging those saws a lot. So it all adds up. Yeah, Echo Timberwolf No Bull is the same thing as a 620. Different piston, different carb, and different coil. Those are the only three changes. Bert's Custom Cuts, good evening. Work early in the morning. I know about that. Gramps here at daylight, so I know all about it, Bert. I feel your pain. But I still got to hang out with you guys for a little bit. We can do an hour. I'll be all right. Thought I was going to sneeze. Excuse me. You know, dog's trying to get up on the table. Does Gramps like the accumulated sawdust? Yes. So the accumulated sawdust is Gramps' friend for sure. We've got 6 to 8 inches, maybe more of sawdust all through the area where we lay the logs down. So he doesn't have to worry about running the saw into the dirt. So when he's doing the undercuts right on the ground, he can just stuff the saw down, let it do what it needs to do, and it's not hurting the chain at all. So that extra sawdust down there is awesome. Plus it makes a bunch of nice material for fire starters. I went and collected, I think, 6 bins full of that nice clean maple sawdust, and we've got a batch drying, and I've got 2 batches that we dumped into our container to make fire starters. So worked out pretty good. Excuse me. But I just wanted to thank each and every one of you that have reached out for Gramp Sticks or wants Gramp Sticks. I think this wood cupboard idea is going to be really awesome, and I think that we're going to have a lot of fun with it. It's not always about making money. It's about helping the community, and I think it'll be some good publicity for the woodhounds, not only in this area, but for any woodhounds that want to travel for any of our events when we do them. Anybody from anywhere is welcome. If you want to make the drive and the trek, we'll gladly host you here and have you here. I'm excited to see what we can turn this into. Bar and chain oil, Gramp only runs one type. He runs Cobra bar and chain oil because it's red. It shows up on the snow. And Bert, we're back. And Bert, yes, where'd we go? My screen went blank. Are you guys still all there? Yeah, all right. So Treetop Firewood, I am just above Bangor, Maine. So about 2 hours north of Portland. But if you're going to be up here, shoot me an email or something, and we'll get it taken care of. Yeah, my screen went completely blank for a minute. I lost you guys. But Bert, yes, Kevin and I will be at Hoosier Firewood Hysteria. We are pulling the muscle wood down, and we're going to split some wood. So we're going to have fun with it. Robert Cox, good evening. Yes, Bill, you're absolutely right. Huskies and John Sureds were the same saws, different colors. So a 2171 was the same as a 372. Parts would interchange back and forth between the two. You could make red and orange saws or any combination of them. It worked out good. So that was why Gramp switched to Husky when John Sured gave up, because it was just a different color John Sured. Britt, Foothills Firewood, good evening, my friend. Thank you for stopping by. Sounds good, Bert. Kevin and I, we're camping out. Kevin's bringing a tent. I don't know who's going to be the big spoon and the little spoon, but I know who's bigger, so we're going to have fun. We're going to rough it for a couple of days and go down and cut some wood. Yeah, no problem, Treetop. Enjoy your anniversary. You don't have to come to a firewood yard on your anniversary. I'm sure the missus wouldn't like that very much at all. So you go and enjoy your anniversary. You come back a different time, and we'll gladly spend some time in the wood yard, and you can poke around, ask questions, hang out, no problem. We were going to stay in a hotel, Bert, but Kevin, he likes camping. He's got all his camping gear. He was excited, so we're going to snuggle up in the tent. It's going to be a good time. Yes, Hoosier is in Indiana. Dick, old guy Firewood, good evening, buddy. I hope you're healing up well. I missed something here. Yeah, all right. So Allwood log splitters are made in Michigan, in Petersburg, Michigan. We have a musclewood right now. We have more splitters that will be headed this way probably after show season starts. I'm going to talk to Bobby. I want a box wedge machine, and I'd like to have probably a Birch VS and maybe even a Birch too, just for my firewood operation. And then we're going to start working on getting our splitters for stock here. Jeremiah, good evening, my friend. Hey, that's awesome, Dick. I'm glad to hear that. Just take it easy and listen to your body. There's no hurry to get back to the firewood. Firewood can wait. Make sure you're better first. But I understand the itch to get out and move and do something, so. I won't tell Treetop Firewood, but when you pull in and she thinks she's going somewhere nice and she sees all the logs and sawdust and you're the only one smiling, I don't have any flowers or anything here. You might be on your own. I can give her some fire starters or a tabletop fire pit. You can have a anniversary fire on me. How's that? So, again, for those of you that are getting here a little later and things like that, if you're going to Hoosier Firewood Hysteria or the International Firewood Expo, if you're wanting fire starters and or Gramp sticks, shoot me an email and let me know so that I can pack them up and bring them with me. I'm planning on bringing like 30 to 35 cases of fire starters with me down to Hoosier. And if any of them sell, I'm fine. If none of them sell, that's fine too. And then when we go to the International Firewood Expo, I already have a bunch of people that want to pick up fire starters down there. So I'm going to try to bring as many as I can make between now and then and still fill orders. And we'll go from there. I haven't shown or put many posts about it, but we're still making them just about every day. And it's a good thing. It's been a good little side shoot to the business. We've had about an 87.5% reorder. So 9 out of every 10 orders basically are reorders. And we've also seen a big surge in new orders as spring is coming on. So that's been pretty good too. So really excited about that. The wood that we cut today was probably some of the nicer firewood that we've had here in the yard for quite a while. I was not always an all-wood splitter person. I started with Gramp's homemade splitter, and from there I upgraded to a Timberwolf TW2, and then I went to a TW5, and I had that, and I was getting buried in orders, and I had looked at Easton made, and that was right around the time of COVID, and lead times kept getting pushed back, and I needed a splitter now. I happened to stumble across all wood one night on YouTube, and I saw a splitter, and I called Bobby the next day, and when I talked to him, I said, hey, I'm calling about a green log splitter that I saw on your YouTube page. He said, yeah, it's available. He said the guy that wanted it couldn't take it, and I said, I'll be out tomorrow to pick it up. And he said, where are you coming from? I said, Maine. He said, yeah, okay. I think he thought I was lying or joking or something. I showed up the next day with the money, and he goes, oh, you were serious? I said, yeah. He goes, hang on. He said, let me check those lug nuts real good. He checked the lug nuts on it, and we went, put it back on the road all the way back to Maine, and we were splitting the next day. So that's how we got involved with all wood. After I had the splitter for just a little bit of time, I called Bobby and I said, hey, I'd really like to, sell a few of these, be a dealer. He said, I don't know if I want to do that. He said, we'll see. And we all went back and forth a little bit. And when I got to Bunyan last year, I talked to him again. And that was when we kind of struck up the deal to become a dealer. And it's worked out pretty good. We have a brand new conveyor coming that's going to hopefully take care of all of our conveyor woes that we're having right now. The new splitter is far too fast for the old conveyor. And it's not that it's too fast for it. The opening, if we were to keep that conveyor, we need to make the opening wider. Right now, the splitter, it's choked in too far and it backs up. So just issues, things to work through. I can weld and fabricate, but I don't want to cut things apart if I have something new coming. On Robert Daigle, one of our subscribers, he's going to purchase the conveyor. It's going to be a perfect fit for his Wolfridge. Neighborly Homestead. Tim, you got the gang with you? Because if so, I want to say thank you so much for that maple syrup. It is excellent in my coffee, and it's even better on French toast. So 2 thumbs up for sure. Appreciate it very much. If you guys haven't checked out Neighborly Homestead's page yet, give Tim and his family a little look. They do a lot of maple syrup and firewood and outdoor stuff. Really, really cool. Logger Jason says, how many people are interested in a chap type pants similar to Arbor Pro? They're going to be $125 plus shipping, which would be about $20. We might get a discount if we get more interest. Well, I know if you can get it done, Jason, I'd like at least 2 pair here. And we'll see how we go from there. And if there's anything I can do, if they're interested in some advertisement or whatever, get us some up here and I can advertise, and we can put the word out and see if we can do that and get them taken care of. I know sometimes wearing a set of those Arbor pants is much more comfortable than a pair of chaps. I know I don't like chaps myself, but I wear them because it's safer. But I really like my cutting pants. I have some heavier cutting pants that I wear in the woods in the winter time. And we'll definitely definitely keep an eye on it. Somebody had mentioned if I had fire starters at Bunyan, they'd take some. I'll have fire starters in Bunyan as well. Yeah, Tim, maple syrup and coffee. I don't know how you get much better than that. Jason, I got people asking what sizes the pants are. Do you have sizes or a website that they can check it out? I like honey in my tea, Brandon, but it's good in coffee too. I was going to make coffee tonight, but I didn't. So I'll see if we can get a web page for the pants that Logger Jason's talking about. And if he posts the link on the live chat, then we'll go. Robert Daigle wants a couple pair too, Jason. So there's a couple more pairs that we can move. So I think we can move them. We just got to find out what they have for size and what they got going on. Looks like we got some short-legged fellers in here. Same as your pant size with a 32-inch inseam. So you might have to roll yours a little bit, Josh. Yeah, they're a pant, Dick. So they're like an Arbor-style pant. Oh, yeah, see? There you go. Decaf coffee with some maple syrup. Lake Ontario Firewood, he'd be in there. Josh Leach is just going to walk the ends off him. He's just going to walk on the cuffs until they're gone. That's determination right there. I like that. Oh, what a day. Up since 5 a.m. in the office by 6. 3:30 was home stacking. Done in the wood yard for today. Well, good evening and thank you for showing up, Daniel Atkins, all the way from the West Coast. All right. I don't know how to look back through the live chat. I'll have to see if I can figure that out. I'm a stout fellow too, Dick, so I think you and I were going to test out the limitations of their circumference machines, and that's okay. I'll see what we can do. Big Chevy, good evening, my friend. I had the racks all filled up really nice. I don't know if you were one of the ones that came and grabbed them, but man, oh man, did we get rocked today. I got to put at least a half a cord back in them again tomorrow to get them filled back up again. We put 2 cords in there and half a cord sold today plus a bunch of kindling. So people aren't done buying just yet. Derek, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate everything you're doing. We will be watching our email and our mailbox quite intently. See, Daniel Atkins says he doesn't mind walking the cuff off his pants either. So we don't care, Jason. We'll walk them off if we need to. Logger Jason, you got people asking for your email. If you want to put your email down there, I got a feeling some of these guys will send you an email and give you sizes for what they need. So lots of stuff going. How did I get in the firewood business? So that's a good question, Tom. So I'm the type of guy that I can't really sit still, and I like money. Now, granted, there's not a lot of money in firewood, but there's enough. And I started with slab wood from a hardwood mill up the road. And when they found out how much of it I was moving and what I was doing with it, they started doing the same thing, so I lost my supply. And from there, I went into tree length, and the whole thing's just been going from there. We were big at one point. I had a firewood processor and 5 or 6 full-time employees. We used to do anywhere from 12 to 1,700 cord a year for 3 or 4 years. And then my supply that I had dried up, and I had too many payments and too much overhead, and I almost had to fold everything up. But I stepped back and I regrouped, and we went back to doing it by hand because when I bought the processor, Gramp kind of disappeared. He thought we were putting him out of a job. And when I sold the processor, the next load of logs that came in to cut by hand, Gramp was here just like nothing happened. He fired the saw up, went right back to blocking and stacking like he'd always done. So that's the way we kept it. And I told my wife and I told Gramp that that's the way we're going to keep it until he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore. When he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore, we'll do something different. I'm looking at some processors right now, just to increase production. But we'll see. That's going to probably be a little bit down the road, but not far. Yep, farming is hard. My best friend's family had a hog farm growing up, so I grew up around the farm. They raised 300 or 400 head of hog, and it's not easy. Circle B, log supply is the hardest part of a firewood business, and I think it's everybody's biggest nightmare if you're doing it on any scale. It's one thing if it's a hobby. It's another thing if it's something that you're trying to do full time, and especially if you don't have a big yard like we do. I don't have the ability to put hundreds of cords in the yard, so I only have at most 3 to 4 weeks worth of inventory that I can stuff in the yard, and it has to stay rotating. Denny Hart, I have looked at the Evo. That 16-way wedge entertains me very, very much. Yes, Thomas, I don't think anybody is going to beat the processor's time for the cord challenge, but Kevin and I have our cord challenge running coming pretty soon, and I think we're going to take the splitter portion of it back. We won't take the processor portion, but we're going to take the splitter portion back. It's a great way to make a living, Ted. It's honest work. Daniel Atkins, yeah, sometimes it's just something different. I grew up as a child, we burnt firewood. We burnt 6 to 8 full cord of firewood a year. And my grandfather always burnt firewood, and my uncles burnt firewood. So somebody was always doing firewood throughout the summer. And it was really nice to be able to spend time with family and get something done. And go from there. I just saw a message from Dick. Hang on. Chatted with Robin today. Larry still doesn't have an answer to his health problems. Lost strength on one side of his body. They're getting a battery wheelchair for him. Robin asked me to tell everybody. Well, if you guys don't know Robin and Larry, and I'm sure most of you guys do, Robin and Larry are awesome. They paid attention to my videos when I was first starting, so please keep Larry in your prayers. And if there's anything that we can do for Robin and Larry, let us know, Dick. The Woodhound community would be more than happy to pull together if needed and help out. That's too bad. But that's the great thing about this community, is at any given point in time, there's enough of us around. A few guys could show up and we could get a bunch of work done and help somebody out and pay that forward. And that's what it's all about. It's not about the money, guys. The money is just a side. We're only here for a short time. If we can help somebody out, you help them out. So if there's anything we can do for Robin and Larry, definitely let us know, and we'll see what we can do, Dick. Yad can get into firewood in 86. I was probably sitting on the splitter running the handle in 86. I think I was 3. That was my first job in the firewood business, was running the handle on the log splitter. And my grandfather would nod his head when he wanted me to go forward, and he'd yell yup when he wanted it to go back. So it's a good memory on Gramp's old homemade splitter that I used to start my firewood business with almost 30 years after that. So that's pretty cool. Those are memories that I'll have for forever. Daniel Atkins, sometimes that's the whole thing, is just moving. Sometimes you just got to get out and move. I know sometimes in the morning when I get up, my back's really tight and it just says no. And I go out and start throwing rounds for Gramp, and within 5 to 10 minutes, I'm pretty well loosened up and everything's ready to go. Was delivering it with a farm tractor. Yeah, memories are priceless, and that's one of the things. When I say we, it's my firewood business. I'm the one that pays the taxes. I'm the one that does all the legwork with the business. Kevin and Gramp work with me. I couldn't do what I do without Kevin and Gramp, so it's we. I don't care if it's not their business or not. As far as I'm concerned, it is, because I can't do what I do without them. And I got some real good memories. You know, I got pictures of my youngest son, Richard, in diapers sitting on my lap. Gramp and I covered and soaked in sweat out in the firewood yard. And really, really cool. No, so Gramp was bucking beech and hard maple today. And the beech and hard maple were some of the nicer logs that we've had in here for a while. We don't get white oak up here. I get red oak, but that's about it. Okie Woodsman, Joe, good evening, my friend. Clayton Blunt, do you know how much your business grossed in 24? I do. So my business in 24 grossed just shy of $450,000. Not all of that was firewood, because we do snow removal and we also do material deliveries. I didn't do material deliveries last year because I was working full time for the town still, but you guys are going to see a lot of that coming up pretty quick. We're going to do a bunch of material deliveries. I'm hoping that we can get up around 800,000 for this year, somewhere in that range for gross. That's my goal. So we're gonna work on it and see what happens, and go from there. Clayton, we work hard. We work very hard. So it's a group effort for sure. My best year ever. We definitely smashed it out of the park. But one of the things that I like the most is pushing. Once I get a target in front of me, I'm not stopping until I get it. And when I set my mind to it, there's no such thing as no, and there's no such thing as not today. I'm gonna do it. There's lots of times when Kevin and Gramp will go home and I've got another order that'll come in for a couple of cords or for a cord and a half or something like that. And I crank. I do it. I'll do it again. I mean, there's plenty of time after when you're done. Carl Lewis, yes, I will be at the Hope event for sure. Yeah, that's just it, Joe. I am competitive to a fault, and I'm friendly competitive. I'm not to the point that I don't like somebody or anything like that, but I'm not gonna lose. I might be a chubby guy and I might be a little round, but when it comes down to how quick we can get something done or who can do the most, I'm gonna put my head down. I'm gonna work, and I'm gonna work like a dog to see what I can get done. There's just something about this type of work, and I don't know what it is, that always leaves me wanting just a little bit more. But we're redoing the way that we do the business a little bit, because, you know, we've got this 8-inch wood here. We're doing a lot more bagged firewood. We've gotten into the restaurant wood. I'm getting away from the bulk firewood for home heating. I'm going to keep all the customers that we had, and I'll take any customers that come to us. But there's too many big guys with processors to compete with when we're running saws and splitters. Our quality is better, but we can't do it for the price that those guys are. So it puts us at a disadvantage when we're $25 more a cord. The restaurants, they want what they want. You give them what they want, they're going to pay for it, and they don't mind. But they don't want to be playing games. So it's one of those deals. It's find something you like or find something you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. I don't view any of it as work. Gramp gets here early in the morning. Even if I'm not really up and around yet, I grin. I'm like, Gramp's here. Put my boots on, head out the door, go to work. It's really, really cool. So we talked about material deliveries a minute ago. We're going to spend a lot of time in the mulch yard. We're going to spend a lot of time in the compost and topsoil yard. 2 different places, lots of money to be made in both. and it's just easy money because you drive, pick up the material, go deliver it. Every time the truck moves, I want at least $150. So if I can do 10 deliveries in a day, I make $1,500 a day minus my expenses. So that's what I'm after. And it's more money than firewood, but it's a very short season up here. So we go from roughly the 1st of May to the end of June. Usually once July 4th hits, the landscape materials stop and it slows right down. So we have that really short window to work with, and during that short window, I'm 7 days a week, drop my head and go. So it won't be hardworking man and I, Thomas, that do the cord challenge. It's going to be Kevin and I, and we have a plan. And if Kevin and I can't do it fast enough, it's going to be Dave and I, and we have an even better plan. Because like I said, I don't like to lose. So we're going to go from there. Home heating wood, I make my splits whatever size the customer wants. So that's the nice thing about splitting with a splitter, is you can give the customer what they want. When you have a processor, depending on your processor, you're kind of limited depending on how your process works. But I ask people, do you want smaller splits? Do you want bigger splits? Do you want a mix? What do you want to do? Rob, I know, I saw you. You guys were cranking. I'll try my best. I'll see what I can do. But the biggest thing is ask your customers. Every customer that you deliver to, ask them. And if you're trying to build repeat business, in my phone, I have right in there that some people like smaller splits, or some people like bigger splits, or this guy wants round wood. Leave those notes in your phone so when they call back the next year, you have it. Because all the information you can gather, the better. And if you can say, oh yeah, hey, I see you're calling back again this year, Russ. We know that you like small split wood. Do we want to do the same thing we did last year? And if they say yes, you say, yep, no problem. I got it. We'll be there this day. I'll call you when we're on our way. And somebody said, hello, Mrs. Willie.
Oh, hello.
She's sitting down at her laptop. She's self-employed. She's going back to work too.
Yeah.
So it's communication with your customers is important. I have an ad that runs on Marketplace just about year round. I had a gentleman message tonight, was looking for 3 cords of green firewood for next year's firewood. I said, yep, no problem. We can get it to you tomorrow. Does that work for you? And he's like, tomorrow? He's like, that was fast. I said, I can fit you in tomorrow if that works. I said, if that works, I said, you let me know what size you want it split, and we'll go from there. And he said, yeah, he said, that'd be great. He goes, I really wasn't planning on it that quick. He said, but I'll get it put away this weekend. He said, if I do, can I get more? I said, yeah, no problem. I said, just let me know. So that's the one thing I've noticed more than anything, is we're such a consumer-driven society. People want delivery as soon as possible. Nobody wants to hear that it's 2 to 3 weeks out, especially a new customer. So any new customers that I get, I try to deliver as soon as possible. And when I see them, I let them know, if you're ordering for next year's heating season, we want to go ahead and we want to get you on a list, and we're going to show up in the spring. We'll put you on a call list. We'll let you know, and we'll go from there. And that works pretty good. I just saw another question. So there are some women in the Woodhound community that'll put the men to shame as far as work goes. So if they want to compete, a Woodhound is a Woodhound. It doesn't matter male or female. It's a Woodhound. So if they want to compete in the challenge, they are more than welcome.
Oh, what challenge?
The 1 cord challenge.
Oh.
And yeah, if the ladies ran the saws, that'd be even better, Brandon. But I don't think Gramp's going to let anybody run his saw. I don't even get to run them, so probably be all set. I'm going to have to run the Vivor, I guess, if I want to run something. Somebody asked if the wood was dry. Daniel, there you go. I appreciate that. So Daniel just put my email in the chat. If you're looking for a Gramp Stick, my email is right there. You can copy it and grab it. Send me an email. Like I said, the first batch is sold already. Don't worry. We will get you. Derek's making more. Derek's making some new things, some new style Gramp Sticks. He's a creative cat. He really cool dude. I appreciate him very much for what he's putting into this. and it's all going to charity.
I have a question.
My wife has a question.
Did Gramp get a Gramp Stick?
He did. Do you know what color Gramp Stick picked?
No.
Pink.
For real?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. Yeah, Josh Leach, good point. There's 82 of us in here, 84 now. Don't forget to hit that like button. Uh-oh, Mrs. Willie's coming to chat with us. Watch out, people. We're in trouble now.
Well, I was just going to sit down over here, so, because sometimes the people want to ask me questions too, so.
All right, so the boss is here. I'll try to behave. She's been hearing me the whole time anyway, so. Yep, pink stick's easier to find. That's exactly what Gramp said too, Craig. He said shows up better. So I kind of got a kick out of it. I did not expect him to pick up the pink one, but he did. So Brandon says hello.
Hello.
Yeah, she's easier to look at than I am, so I get it.
Well, I'm nothing special, but I just tucked the kids in. We have been really busy. I'm really thankful Russ came in, took time off from working and the wood yard today to help me in my office. And he hung a sign and some artwork and some jerseys and all this stuff because we've got a big open house tomorrow. So
yeah, my wife has built quite a business in the last couple of years, so
yeah.
She should be proud of having an open house. She went from just herself to what, 4 nurse practitioners and 3 nurses now.
We've got 2 full-time nurse practitioners, 1 part-time. We're hiring a 4th part-time, and then 2 full-time nurses, 2 part-time nurses, and a staff office manager. So there's like 10 of us all together.
So 10 employees in about 2 years.
Yeah.
I'll only issue the word of caution and advice that I had when I grew really fast is don't put the cart too far ahead of the horse. So, growing pains. No, she doesn't get sawdust stuck in her beard like I do, that's for sure.
I'm trying to laser my beard off.
I try to behave, Bill. I really do. I behave really well when I'm on camera. Not so much when the camera's not around, but when I'm on camera, I behave really well.
It can't take them anywhere.
But no, they've built a great business. So I took the afternoon. I went and hung up some stuff on the walls and a whole bunch of other things. Yeah, franchising is something she's already talked about, Ken. Like I said, she's got the big whole full steam ahead dream. She's doing the complete opposite that she told me to do with my business, which kind of makes me grin a little bit because when I started, I wanted to do everything and anything, and I did everything and anything. And then she's like, she goes, if you just picked one thing and did one thing good, you'd be so much further ahead. And now look who's trying to do everything and anything.
But I thank you, John. But I did do one thing, and I did one thing really well, and it got really big real fast. So I did, and then because the one thing did really, really well, the pug wrestling. Oh my gosh, yeah, there it is. There's the pug butts. But yeah, I was doing weight loss. I went from seeing people at my kitchen table.
Have a good night, wise choice.
And then all of a sudden, it was like I went from having 2 clients to having 50 clients. I talked you into writing a book.
She talks me into everything, Brandon.
I'm full of good ideas.
She really does. She's full of great ideas as long as I have to do them.
That's not right. It's not true. You be nice. But yeah, no, it just got really big really fast. So, and then that allowed me to scale and do more things. But I'm trying to learn how to delegate. That's what I'm trying to learn.
Is that why we have our laptop open at 9 o'clock at night?
Yes.
Delegating?
Yes.
You delegated that to yourself?
Yes.
So we'll work on the delegating a bit more.
I said I'm working on it. I'm not there yet. Like I'm trying.
So, yeah, it's one of those things when you're self-employed and you have a small business, there's no vacations, there's no days off. The business still needs to run, the business still needs to operate. The goal is to eventually get that business to a point where you don't have to be there for it to work. It's really difficult with a firewood business, especially if you're an owner-operator. But when you have a healthcare field and you've got other employees, you can have an employee in or out and still let everything work. So It's really cool. And I've seen a couple of comments go by. Hard work is very rewarding. And I said a long time ago, if you have a dream, build your dream instead of working to build somebody else's. Because if you go and you punch a time clock and you're just an employee, you're helping somebody else build their dream while you put yours on the back burner. Yeah, that's just it, Clayton Blunt. When you're self-employed, you get to work 12 hours, and then you get to pick which 12 hours you want to work. And it's all of them, so.
It's more like 15, 18.
Well, we marry nurses so that when we cut off fingers or when we get staples in our head or we break bones or something like that, they can take care of us.
Because nurses are awesome.
And because nurses are awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we've got great senses of humor, and we're hard workers, and we've got big, beautiful hearts. And some of us are pretty to look at, too.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, no rest for the wicked. The season is definitely upon us. We've got some nasty weather coming. As far as keeping things froze, it's going to get muddy fast. They're talking rain 6 out of 7 days next week, or chance of rain 6 out of 7 days next week. And it's going to be nasty. But the orders are coming in. The rain is actually going to dry things out, believe it or not, because it'll take the frost out of the ground. Once the frost is out of the ground, the water can go down, and it'll dry things out. It's just going to be that interim where everything is nasty. See, there's somebody else with an RN for a wife. Nurse gang, Britt, man, everything's just going. Yeah. So with the rain, that's okay because I have an office that way, somewhere that way, that we need to build and get decked out. And Logger Jason says, thanks for being a nurse. We all need a nurse.
Aw.
Yeah, the rain is going to dry things out, treetop firewood. That is something that my grandfather taught me about a long time ago, and I always thought he was crazy. And he's right. Once the rain takes the frost out of the ground, then the water can go down. So it's definitely an interesting concept to think that the rain will dry things out, but it does in the spring. That's not year-round, but in the spring for sure. So yeah, it's one of those things.
Are you coming to B&I tomorrow?
To what?
B&I?
Are they actually gonna have a meeting this time?
As long as they have power.
I see. I don't know. We'll see. I wasn't. What time is it? 8:30? I don't know. We'll see. So now I may have a meeting that I didn't know that I thought I was supposed to have.
You don't have to go. I was just asking.
So my wife does BNI. What is BNI?
Business Networking International.
And basically it's local businesses in the area. They all get together and it's a network system where if somebody has a client or somebody that's looking for something, they can refer them back and forth to the other businesses in the area. They don't have a good looking lumberjack / firewood guy right now.
Yeah.
So she's been after me. And there's lots of people that have been after me for my wood already, and I'm not even in BNI, so.
Well, I gotta tell you, I was hesitant to join because my husband here told me not to, and I did it anyway. And I have gotten so much business and referrals from joining, and it has just been a really great opportunity to network locally. And I've made connections with the universities, I've made connections with teams, I've made connections with insurance agents and bank. I was able to get my loan for my big device because of BNI. So it was just, it's paid off dividends. And I've only been in the group for about 7 months now. So I think where Russ here is wanting to expand into a little bit more specialized wood, like with the restaurants and then maybe like SR1 and different convenience stores, I think that the connections that you could have by joining would be beneficial.
So long-term plan for my business, Clayton, is I'm gonna do firewood until I can't do firewood anymore. I like to work. Her long-term plan, definitely not to work until she can't work anymore. So
I like the idea of like lounging on a beach with like a book and you know, reading and you know, relaxing and swimming and looking pretty somewhere. So my plan is to build an empire and just be like a figurehead. That's my plan.
So my plan, if I could have anything I wanted, would be to have the firewood business and maybe have it self-sustaining with a couple of employees. But what I would like to do is I would like to travel the country to all the other YouTube channels, to all the other places. I'd like to see all the people. I'd like to collaborate with everybody. And I'd like to bring that woodhound community further together than what it is right now. And what I want to see is excuse me, is I want to see this woodhound community put together to the point that it doesn't matter if we're in California or we're in Maine, we're all on the same page and we're all doing the same things. Because I think too many firewood people separate themselves apart by trying to be a little bit cheaper than the next guy or trying to do something a little bit different than the other person. If we all work together as one collective idea, yes, we can all still do things differently, but it's not putting us against each other and we can get a fair wage for it. I think a lot of times we don't get enough money for our firewood because we're all competing with everybody over $10 less a cord. I don't compete with anybody on price anymore. When somebody says, do I get a discount for buying 10 cord? I say, yeah, absolutely. You buy 10 cord, you pay the full cord price for all 10. And they'll pause on the other end of the phone. And one lady's like, well, that's not a deal. Told her, I said, there's no less work in 10 cord of firewood for me than there is in one. So I'm not a fan of this, give me a discount because I want to buy 100 cords or give me a discount because I want to pay in cash. Cash is nice, don't get me wrong, but the same amount of work went into it, so I don't like doing that. I used to, when I first started, I'd give somebody a deal if they wanted to pay cash or if they wanted to buy a whole bunch of firewood. Looking back on it, I wish I hadn't. It set a bad precedent. So now the price is what the price is. Yeah, the beer money guys are always going to be around. And here's what I tell everybody when they call and they say, well, I can get it from this guy on Marketplace. Go ahead. He's $50 less a cord. That's awesome. I really hope you get good wood from him. But just remember, this guy's doing it for beer money or a weekend warrior. I'm doing it to make a full-time living. The price that I'm quoting you and that I'm giving you is the price that I need to have so that I'm here next year when you call to order your firewood again. If I do it for less than that, I'm not going to be here and you're not going to know where your firewood's coming from. But so far, I've been doing this for 12 years right now, so I've got a pretty good idea what's going on. And that's just kind of where we go and how we do it. And I think it's important to stick to your guns. If you have a price, don't let somebody beat you up. And I find that friends and family will be the first ones to ask for a discount. They should be the first ones to pay you exactly what you're asking for your product because they know how hard you've worked to do it and they know what you need to have. So it's just stick to your guns, guys. Don't let somebody push you around. So, kind of a long way around the barn, but my goal would be to travel everywhere and collaborate with everybody.
Did you tell them my idea?
No, I didn't.
I think something that I have learned from this YouTube community is that I did not know that this community existed. And I think it's really cool that all over the country there are people just like my husband who are hardworking, good people, just providing a really good service to the community. I think that this has like Discovery Channel show written all over it. I think there should be a show called Woodhounds, and I think it should showcase a couple of woodhounds and like tell their story and show that because it's come to my attention that y'all like watching him and like keep coming back. So I mean, if you guys like watching him, I think other people would too.
And there's some interesting characters out there too. I think it warrants it. I think it could be something that would be cool. And I think it would be neat to see the different areas of the country and how people do things differently. Like up here, I sell green firewood, and everybody's like, I can't believe that you sell green firewood. How do you sleep at night? I was talking to the lady from the local newspaper when she did the ad, and I told her, I said, people get mad at me because I'm up here selling green firewood. And she goes, oh, I thought everybody bought their firewood green up here. And I'm like, well, that's kind of the way we grew up. We bought it ahead of time and everything, but it's just different. So I think, seeing the different parts of the country and how some places you can't sell green wood, and then up here, that's all we can sell is green wood. Nobody has seasoned firewood left around me right now. Everybody is sold out. There's none left. If they tell you that it's seasoned, they're lying, because it's not. Here in Oklahoma, 2 months on oak is what people want. So if we dried oak for 2 months up here, you wouldn't light it with a blowtorch in the stove, Joe. Oak takes about 2 years to fully dry up here. Our red oak is the slowest drying firewood that we have. The smaller you split it, the faster it'll dry, but normal firewood size pieces, 2 years to get it really good and dry. I'm not sitting on anybody's wood for 2 years. I don't care how special you are. I don't even sit on mine for 2 years. Good rule of thumb up here in Maine, if you want wood that is really nice to burn in the fall, buy it before Memorial Day, stack it outside, cover just the top of it, bring it inside before the first snow, and you're all set. Robert Daigle, I don't take offense to that, because I've told everybody right from the time we started the channel that everybody watches the channel for Kevin and for Gramp. They don't watch it for me. So they're definitely the stars of the show, and it's okay. I understand. But yeah, so I think a collective, collaboration with all the other channels would be really, really cool. I'd love to travel through and go. PA Trapper, I was told that the birch is in powder coat right now, so we should have pictures shortly. Have a good night, Tim. Thanks again so much for the maple syrup. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely, Vic. That's just it. The Woodhound community is awesome. Kevin is somebody that struggled to find friends throughout his whole life. He's been picked on because of his size, things like that. We went to Hope, and Matt from Lily's Farm and Firewood made Kevin's life. He was working beside us. He had his new Wolfridge 35 SHO that he brought down. Matt bumps me on the shoulder. He says, hey, will the little guy run my splitter? And I said, yeah. I said, he'll do whatever you want. And he's all right. He told him, he said, hey, Kevin, he said, come over here. He goes, those big guys don't need you. He said, come on over here. So we we lost Kevin for the day, and he was over there running the Wolfridge. And we did a couple of shorts, and we played around with it a little bit with him running the Wolfridge. But Kevin really, really liked that. Jack from Log Cabin Firewood, he come over. He was handing out hats. He made sure that Kevin got one. Kevin wears that hat all the time. He loves getting stuff from any of the channels and things like that. So whenever he gets stickers or hats or anything, he's 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And I'll tell you right now, pound for pound, even more than Gramp, I don't think that there is a harder working woodhound in the community at all. Kevin is a monster. For about 115 pounds, you can't keep up with Kevin. He'll wear you out. Well, we're planning on going to the Oregon Logging Conference. I've got to restructure my business because I plow snow in the winter. But I want to go out to that Oregon Logging Conference, and I want to bring a couple of the big all-wood splitters out there for that West Coast wood. And I want to show you guys how to make firewood fast and easy. So it's definitely pretty cool. Yeah, so the Oregon Logging Conference, my wife and we're planning on going out because she wants to see some of the redwood forests and stuff like that. And it's definitely on our list. I've already talked to Bobby at Allwood, told him not many splitter manufacturers out there, real good market, good opportunity to do something with it. So we're going to do that. And when we do it, depending on how and the time and what everything allows, it's definitely going to be interesting. Gramp will wear a hat every once in a great while, Bill, but not very often. So last live, we talked about some new shirts, and Josh Leach and his wife Janice have come up with the WTF Where's the Firewood shirts, and they also have the MFGA Make Firewood Great Again shirts coming, and we will have those very soon. And I think those are going to be huge hits in the firewood community. I got a feeling they're going to be just as busy as Derek. And I want to do something great with these shirts too. I want to put a big portion of the proceeds of these shirts right back to the charity event, and work on that too, because I want this firewood cupboard to be something that lives on beyond me and lives on beyond Gramp. I want this to be turned into something that could be generational, and I want to make it an event where some of the YouTube community from other states can come up here, and we all put in an effort. It's going to the veterans, so I can't think of a better place for it to go, and then we'll go from there. So can't wait to get the new shirts. And we have a K-Train shirt coming that is a riot. I showed Kevin and he grinned from ear to ear. And he goes, exactly what I was thinking. So outside in the 515, we will have hats. We'll have hats, we'll have shirts, we'll have hoodies, we'll have all kinds of stuff coming, and do everything that we need to do. I don't think Daniel's going to cut it all down, Robert. I think he'll save some for us. I want to run one of those big West Coast saws with like the 5-foot bar on it these guys get all excited about. We don't have trees like that around here. The biggest bar I have ever had on a saw is a 36-inch bar, and I used it for 2 cuts. It was a stump cut for a tree service job, and that was it. So go out and do some of that. I'll tell you something that I would really like to do. I would absolutely love to hand split firewood with Buck and Billy Ray sometime. I watch him hand split firewood, and he just has so much fun with it, and I like hand splitting firewood too. I'd love to hand split firewood with him sometime. Yes, Victor Fazio, he is rebuilding a old cannon for the VFW in Cobleskill, New York, and he had a channel mill out some walnut to rebuild the gunnels on that. I think it's gunnels, rails, gunnels, whatever. But the wooden portion of that cannon, and I'm telling you right now, that is going to be some impressive when it's done. So keep an eye on Vic's channel. He's on here. He's got a picture posted. He posts pictures of his wood, where it came from, how long it's been cut, what it is, and keeps everybody posted that way. So I'm always watching to see what he's burning and where it came from. And Daniel Atkins, you're absolutely right. That flick of the wrist to keep that wood sitting down. I don't know who Bluegrass Outdoors is, but I'll hand split with just about anybody. I know Timber Cutter Patriot, Alan Collier. I watch him all the time. I can keep up with just about anybody for a short period of time, but if we're going to go more than 15, 20 minutes, I don't split enough by hand to do it. There's some guys that I watch on YouTube that have come across my feed that are always hand splitting, and you can tell they always hand split. And I'll tell you right now, it's incredible to watch those guys. Yeah, there you go. That's awesome, Vic. So that's the whole thing. And that's the same thing with our firewood cupboard. It's going to go back to the veterans. I want a portion of all of our merchandise to go back to that fund. I'd really love to get to 100 cords worth of wood that we could have to be able to donate, and that I know is good and dry in season, so that when we send it to somebody that really needs it, they put it in their stove and there's no issue. That's a goal of mine. I don't think we'll get there this year, but by next year, I want to have it. I want to have 100 cord. I want to have it set up as a nonprofit. So that all that money is going to them. So yeah, I watch Buck and Billy Ray. I watched him for a long time. He does a real good job. I like watching his climbing videos and stuff. I used to do some tree work with a couple of friends. I did all the groundwork. I didn't do any climbing. I'm not built to be a climber, but I enjoy tree work, and that's how I kind of got started watching Buck and Billy Ray. So that was pretty cool. Good evening, Brian. Good to see you, my friend. We're running a little late here, but everybody's still contributing and commenting, so I figure why not? We'll run a little late. Wife's still working.
Always working. Big open house tomorrow.
Sounds good, Daniel. So yeah, I'll check out bluegrass. Like I said, I don't hand split every day, but I have always loved to split. One of the things that I've always been good at is busting those tough rounds that nobody will bust. And I like doing it, so it's going to be a good time. Have a good night, Rob. Thank you for stopping by, buddy. I appreciate you. One thing that I am working on, we got in touch with Saw Supplier. Soon, we should have our own discount code that we can offer to everybody for Saw Supplier. So if you're in the market for chainsaws, chainsaw parts, any of that stuff, we'll have a discount code that if you put it in, we can save you some money at sawsupplier.com. That's where we buy a big chunk of our materials and our chainsaw parts and things right now. And going forward, it's where we'll buy all of our saws from. So that'll definitely be a good thing for everybody. So I like the Fiskars X27 myself. So that's, it's not a traditional splitting axe or anything like that, but the Fiskars is my go-to. If I want to swing hard, swing fast, that's what I'm swinging. There's no need to swing an 8 or a 10-pound maul or one of those 7-pound councils. Just not worth it. That Fiskars is so fast and works so good. That's what I pick up every single time. I love my Fiskars. I promote them all the time. I don't get anything from them, but the Fiskars is my go-to for sure. Sounds like the zoo's running through. Dog's got the zoomies. So, yeah, so I really like the Fiskars products. I've got some regular wooden splitting axes too. I don't use them as much. The wooden handles, if you overshoot, you just break them. I've tried the Fiskars chopping axe, and I chopped some trees. That's something I'll tell you right now, that's fun. Chopping a tree down with an axe from start to finish, that's a fun thing. No, Daniel, we had the Monster Maul, big old triangle shaped Monster Maul with a steel pipe handle that when you overshot with it, it rung so hard that it would rattle your teeth in the back of your jaw. Gramp had one of those when I was growing up. Before Gramp built his splitter that I used to start my business with, he used to split 10 cord of firewood by hand for the first 4 or 5 years that he had his house. And that was what he used, was that great big steel handled pipe, and just run it. It's crazy. Yep, we've got Fiskars hatchets too. That's how we make our mini firewood, and we use them all the time. Craig's Corticoles Walmart has a 4.5-pound splitting axe. That's pretty cool. So we have a Marden's Surplus and Salvage up by us, and they buy stuff from places that are going out of business or from loads of freight that were damaged. And they had Fiskars for 30 bucks. And then I picked up a bunch of Fiskars stuff down there this spring.
Didn't it break though?
Well, I bought a nice hickory handled axe down there thinking I was going to do a tree chopping contest. And yeah, I got like halfway through the tree and broke the handle, so that didn't work. I finished cutting it down with a chainsaw instead. And then I bought the Fiskars chopping axe, and that thing worked great. Yep, the Est-Wings are nice too. That was what Heath was running when I went out to Hardwork and Mans. I ran the Fiskars, and he ran the Est-Wing. I'd like to do that again too. I don't know. like I said, there's something about splitting by hand, and especially if I know if there's a goal or a purpose at the end of it, I get excited. I like it. So I don't know. I'm competitive. I'm too competitive, but it's okay. But yeah, so again, if anybody didn't get a Gramp Stick, don't worry. Derek's making more. If I can't count how many cords me and Daniel have cut over the last 2 years or so. I know that I wouldn't be splitting what we do for firewood by hand ever, because I would be dead long before I got through it. I am very thankful for hydraulic splitters with the amount of firewood that we do. The musclewood log splitter that I have is absolutely a monster. We run it at like half throttle most of the time, and even then it's still just so fast and so smooth. And there isn't anything that stops it. That's the thing that amazes me. The machine, it doesn't even grunt most of the time, and it's just so quick, so smooth. So we've got, I want to say we got probably 50 to 55 cords since we brought it home through it right now at this point. I did an oil change on it last week, changed the filter. We had another 50 cord in the yard. We're probably halfway through that now at this point. I'm thinking within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have 100 cord through it. And I gotta say that the more we run it, the better it gets. We're getting used to it. Kevin's put some time in on it, running the handles. It's definitely different to run because of how fast it is. But once you get used to it, really, really nice, really, really smooth machine for sure. Definitely a 2-person machine. Should probably be a 3 or 4-person machine. But yeah, we're gonna burn just a little bit tonight, Craig. I've got some coals kind of burning down, and go from there. So depends, Brandon. Do you mean what's Gramp's suggested oil change interval, or what does the manufacturer call for? Because those are two completely different things. Because if you ask Gramp, every 100 hours you change the oil. If you ask the manufacturer, they say every 250 to 350 hours, depending on usage. But I do every 100 hours because that's what Gramp says. We bought an hour meter for it today to put on it because Gramp was mad that I didn't have an hour meter on it. Allwood's going to tell you to go by whatever the manufacturer says as far as the motor goes. But Gramp says 100 hours. So that's what I do, is 100 hours. I know with the Honda engine I had, they said every 250. On my last splitter, I didn't look to see what they said on this one. I just do it every 100. It's just easier. So I figure every 2 weeks. In the summertime, every 2 weeks I have to change the oil. Which isn't bad. Oil change is easy on it. Oil change is cheap, and we do what we need to do. So just one of those added costs of why is my firewood so expensive that I'm buying from you? Well, because I have to maintain a $21,000 splitter. Change mine every 100, but mine's 3-point. Tractor gets done at 100. Yeah, Gramp was a heavy equipment mechanic. All of the smaller equipment, anything under 100 horse was changed every 100 hours. Everything over 100 horse was changed every 250. Just the way he set his service intervals up, that was the way he was taught when he was at the mill when he started 40-some, 50-some years ago now. And that's what he carried through. He is very, very, very big on preventative maintenance and making sure that his stuff is taken care of, making sure that things are greased regularly. It's just, that's the way he does things. So I know I was brought up the same way. I have a maintenance background. When I worked at the bakery, I ran most of the maintenance department, and we did the same thing. Yeah, those 7.3s will eat anything, Vic. So that's the nice thing about those. Just keep some extra fuel filters, but they'll eat anything. Just dump it in and go. Well, that's like the old Detroits, the skidder and stuff like that. Anything that runs an old Detroit, you just keep adding oil. They leak so much that you just keep adding it to keep it full. We've had some Detroits that have leaked some severe amounts of oil over the years, but they run for forever, so that's a good thing. But all right, guys, we've gone quite a ways over our allotted time here. I appreciate you guys all hanging out with us. Wife's being quiet. She's working on her PowerPoint presentation beside me for her open house tomorrow. But we will be back on Sunday. Again, I'll be going through my emails tomorrow. We'll get everything taken care of and sorted out. If you need a Gramp Stick, again, my email is in the description of all of my videos. Shoot me an email. If you want a custom color, custom length, anything like that, let me know what you need. And we'll go ahead. Daniel Atkins just put the email address down again. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. And we will see you guys all on Sunday. And we'll figure out how the rest of the week went. And we'll let you know exactly what's going on. Kevin Harvey, have a good night, my friend. Appreciate you stopping by. I always look forward to your comments on the videos. And everybody have a good and safe rest of the week. And we'll see you on Sunday.